In 7 Days to Die, is it possible to get 100% off with bartering when talking to the traders? With all the means in the game, is it possible to basically get items for free? That's what we're going to test out. There's a couple different ways to get discounts in this game if you weren't aware of it. Better Barter is the skill system allows you to do this. So all the way up to level 5, and this gives you an additional 25% off when it comes to buying and selling. Takes a while to get to this because you have to have intellect into level 10, and it takes a while to get intellect into level 10. So this is definitely a long-term goal. Early game, what you can do is you can get a preacher hat. At a level 6 preacher hat gives you 20% off. If you get a level 6 cigar and slap it onto the helmet, you get an additional 30% off. So technically, just these two alone should give you 50% if it's stacked. Mix in with some sugar butts, you save 10%. Pumpkin cheesecake, you can save an additional 5%. And if you read Magnum Enforcer Volume 4 and use a 44 or a Desert Eagle, you get an additional 5%. So between all of those, we have 20, that takes it up to 50, 60, 65, 70, and then under Better Barter, we get down here to an additional 25. So that should be 95% off. So the first thing we're going to look at to see what she has to see if that math works. So she's got a beaker for $1,500 here. If we were going to hypothetically get the full discount on that. So let's see what 1,500 times 95% is. That should take us down to about $75. If we were going to actually get the full discount, that should take it down to $75. But what we're testing is, does it actually stack? And what I mean is that by putting all these together at the same time, does it take our barter to 95% off? Or does it do it sequentially, as in with Better Barter? So initially it takes 25% off, and then after that it takes 20% off of the previous total, and then this takes 30% off the previous total, and then 10%, and then 5%, and then 5%. So it's taking a percentage off of the previous total, not the entire total. So that's what we're going to test out. So we have a beaker at 1,500 that she has there. So first thing we're going to do is we are going to max out our intellect and then max out Better Barter. That should give us 25% off. That takes her beaker down to 1125. So 25% off is going to be 1125. Then what we can do,
you
know,
things turned up missing the other day.
Right? Wasn't me. Okay, so if we wear just the hat itself, an additional 20% off. So collectively, that should be 45% off. Let's see where that takes us here in terms of this. 825. So let's see, is 825. So our hat gave us 20 and Better Barter gave us 30. So far it's actually stacking. So what we're going to do now is we're going to slap the cigar on there and see where that takes us to. So now we should have the 20% plus the cigar giving us an additional 30. So that should be 50 plus what we get from Better Barter should be 75%. Let's slap you on and see if we get that kind of a discount through her. The beaker is down to $375. So $375, 25% left. So that is the 75%. Now the last thing we'll check out to see is if the other ones actually stack. So I know, right? So we take Better Bartering. That should give us an additional 10%. Let's see if that takes it off 37.5 or if it's total. The beaker, so that takes us down to 224. Now,
Nothing this time?
I know, you're lovely. And then let's take the pumpkin cheesecake, see if we get that additional 5%. And I'll go ahead and just read this because it doesn't do it until I actually have the handgun in front of me. So now with all of that going on there, we have right at about 90%. It's at like 0.99% math-wise to get the beaker down to that level. Now we have the Magnum. Let's see if it takes it down any further. Beaker down to $74. So it is possible to get them to completely fully stack. You can get up to 95% off when buying things from the trader if you use all the available methods. Obviously, it's going to take a little while to get to that aspect over there, so you can't get to 100%. Sadly, it doesn't look like that's an option, or everything else will just be pretty much free. It kind of looks like you can get things down to free. Look. Get some bandages down to $0 on there. We've got forged iron down to 1 on all of those. So 95% is the maximum amount that you can save when you're dealing with any of the individual traders. But obviously it's going to take a little while to get there. But I've had a lot of people asking me to test that to see if it's possible to get 100%. Or even 95% if that's the max it goes, if it will stack. Each one stacks, or if it's a percentage off the previous amount. And it does 100% stack. So this is a short video to test it out, and it absolutely works. So you can save up to 95% while talking to the trader, specifically Trader Jen. Trader Rick, he can just get bent. So, got any more tests you want me to test out like this? Happy to do it. Love doing the math and the science for you guys. Leave a like on the video, subscribe if you're new, and I'll talk to you later.